Welcome back to another Askari Cast. My name is Rod Van Blake, author of the Ancient Illumination series as well as the Ambani Chronicle series. And I am joined once again by Jocelyn Short.
Hello.
She is a concept artist and illustrator. She's a creator of Bearers. She does all types of cool custom illustrations as well as some cover work that she's got out there for other creators. If you are at all curious about either of our creative endeavors, when I upload this episode to Spotify, there will be links to our individual websites so you can check those things out. And today we are back to talk Welcome to Derry. Excuse me, episodes 3 and 4. I know the finale just came out. It was a finale.
hmm
Okay, because I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, seven's like a weird number to end on.
Well, this was the finale was episode 8.
Okay, so it's there's 8 episodes.
Yep.
Okay, so spoiler alert: if you have not watched at least up to 3 and 4, and just for discussion's sake, when we come to the podcast, I usually stick to what we're discussing so it can be new and fresh when I watch the next week. Episode 3, I believe, is Now You See It.
hmm
Um, And this was an interesting episode only because we kind of get a peek into the past of General Shaw,
Yep.
aka Young Francis, in 1908, going to some type of fair in Derry or close to Derry,
Mm.
and he's walking around. You got the caller, come one, come all. He's expounding on the delights and strangeties that you can come see at a fair. All the freakish things that they have. They have the funhouse crazy mirrors. They probably got like a bearded lady back in there somewhere. You know how it was back in the day.
hmm
At least they depicted it. I wasn't back in the day. I wasn't there, but and you weren't either because you're younger than I am. But how I've seen them portrayed on TV, it's one of those type of things where they got the fun house and all the weird looking folks that they rounded up somewhere.
hmm
The hirsute people are probably there. Have you seen the people with all the hair all over their bodies,
Yeah.
including up on their face? So young Francis is walking through, looking at things, and he gets duped into going into this fun house. And I think we see we see the entity, what becomes Pennywise initially as some like half naked grizzled old man, like toothless,
Yeah.
wizened old geezer. And then like his eyeball pops out. He's like, oh, he says something to him and freaks him out after running through the fun house. And he comes out shaking and pops. He's like, hey, oh, he's like, what's going on? And they don't. What did he say to him? Don't be a sissy or something like that. He basically don't be scared.
Something
Basically,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, something to that effect. Don't be scared. And I think uh, that was planted a seed in him, which is why he's so crazy about chasing this thing down.
hmm
Although I'm not too sure about why he's actually doing it. I know he tells Hanlon that there has like some nuclear threat
hmm
combat thing, but I don't know how you think he's going to weaponize this thing.
mm
Um, what do you think about this? The funny part is when his father buys him the slingshot from the
Yeah.
fair, and then something breaks down with the car, and they need water because he's thirsty, and there's
hmm
group of Native Americans on the side of the road uh, selling water,
Yep.
and he gives him some pocket change to go over there, give me something to drink. He's like, hurry it up, and he goes over there, and my boy is short. He has a little change that Pops gave him. He hands who we become to known as Rose, hands
hmm
her the money, and she's like, yo, it's 5 cents. This ain't enough. And then she says, is that a slingshot? And they don't show us him handing the slingshot to her. We just see him come back with the water.
hmm
And then when they drive off, Pops notices that the slingshot isn't in his pocket because you see him kind of looking around like, where's that dang slingshot? And young Francis kind of just smirks and smiles and they drive off. And then you know that later we see them playing together with the slingshot and running through the forest. And uh, he runs too far afoul of where they're going and doesn't realize that there's a boundary where this thing is kept.
hmm
What do you think about that part?
I thought it was interesting because the I thought it was interesting because I was like, is this what he's afraid of? Like, I feel like, I'm like, you would think he's just afraid of his dad, but like Pennywise is taking this form,
Yeah,
you know. So I'm like, it, it didn't seem like it was based in anything, kind of. So I was just kind of like, is this just a like a fear randomizer because he doesn't know this kid that well yet or something? I
maybe.
was
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, you know. It was just like here's something that folks might generally be afraid of.
Maybe it's a kind of a catch-all. Like
Yeah.
there's a group of people that he's around at the time because he seems to evolve with the times.
Mhm.
I don't think it's until the next episode we get the full history, or is it in this episode too? Am I wrong on that?
Um,
Because that's the point where the
we don't.
younger
It's
Native
not this
American dude's
episode.
getting questioned, and we
Mhm.
find that out. But I'm thinking that's the next episode.
I think it's the next episode.
Yeah. So yeah, we basically get the basis for Francis and Rose's history, which we find out now is Rose is the person at the antique shop that's been
Mhm.
selling the stuff to Miss Charlotte, the pilot's wife.
Mhm.
So there's like a whole bunch of connective tissue between the characters spanning a long time across the board. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, young Francis runs in. He was chased out of the funhouse, and now he's been frolicking around with young Rose. And I'm sure if Pops finds out about that, he wouldn't be too happy about it. But and he finds out later that he's moving, and then she gives him the slingshot back,
Mhm.
and he still has it. We find
Right.
out. Is this the episode? I'm not trying not to get both of them mixed up, 3 and 4, where they go up in the airplane.
It's yes. It's this episode.
Yeah. So I forget the dude's name, the brother that I don't like. That
That can see stuff.
yeah, that can feel. He's the human compass.
Halloran.
Halloran. Yeah, they go up in the airplane in this episode too with the
Mhm.
pilot and his partner, with Halloran directing them
Mhm.
seemingly, and they think my boy has lost it. His eyes go in the back of his head. He closes his eyes and starts like
They
he's
think
holding
he
his own little
tweaking.
personal. He's tweaking out, having his own little personal seance in the back. And they're like, "Yo, you all right?"
Mhm.
Like we don't know where to go. He's calling back to base saying that they have permission to come back, and base is telling them no, keep on your current heading and don't stop. And they're like, "What?" And then my boy goes into another dimension in his head, not knowing he's free walking. So the entity is scoping him out.
Mhm.
Pennywise is locked in on Halloran and directing him to basically jump out the plane and kill himself.
Well, it was interesting that part because
Yeah,
it was in, you know, that part wasn't so much uh, Pennywise directing him. It was
yeah,
more so like he found Pennywise. Pennywise did not find him.
yeah,
Yeah, which I thought was interesting because like when he first, meets him and he sees the eyes, he asked him, "Who are you?" Like he wasn't supposed to find him there.
yeah.
You
But
know?
he also said that he didn't think that he was supposed to be seen.
Right.
When General Shaw asked him about it, he's like, "Sir, he wasn't supposed to see me."
Ah, okay.
He's
Yeah,
like, "I
yeah.
saw," he's like, "Did you find him?" He's like, "No, he saw me." Like,
Mm,
and I don't
mhm.
think that was supposed to happen. And I'm kind of thinking maybe we should back off and not look for this thing and leave it alone. And Shaw is just not having it. He's got a hang up with this entity. He's going to find it, and it's real shady how Shaw knows what they're looking for.
Yeah.
He knows why the Native American group there. He knows why they're guarding it.
Yep.
Kind of.
Mhm.
He has an idea of what's there.
Mhm.
Yet he's playing both sides and acting like he doesn't know because they have an interaction too. Him and Rose again as adults,
Mhm.
and she does mention that Derry has a way of making people forget because he makes it seem like I remembered you, from back in the day and all this and that, and that kind of reminisce. But then he says something to kind of slight her, and she's like, "Oh, you do know how to flatter a girl, don't you?" Because they said something kind of wrong, and he's
Mm.
like, "Well, I don't remember much." And he's like, "Yeah, that's." She's like, "Yeah, that's kind of how this place is. It has a way of making you forget, and I think that has something to do with Pennywise."
Yeah. Um, because I know that when he talks to her in the store, he has like that paper. And he was like, "I didn't remember anything until like now."
Yeah,
But definitely has something to do with Pennywise, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Um, so I mean, the thing that's extra interesting about it is the slingshot, because that's
Hmm.
what Halloran is using.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how did you know? Like,
Rose hit it with the slingshot. That's the connection. He was injured by the sling. Remember, because Francis was running through the part he wasn't supposed to be at,
okay,
and when he does the the fateful horror film thing where the person trips and falls
yeah,
inevitably, and he's laying on his back, kind of scooting backwards, about to get
right,
hit. He's about
mhm,
to get got, and Rose uses the slingshot and hits him on the head, and he actually bleeds. He's been injured
ah,
by the slingshot, so somehow that's now become a talisman of some sort. That's something that's did the entity harm. He's able
okay,
to get away, and before he leaves, she gives him the slingshot back, and he always keeps it. And so
mhm,
somehow he knows it's got a connection. That's why he gives it. He has it in the in like a cigar box or something,
right,
and gives it to him as a tool to use to kind of try and locate this entity. It's an interesting game that they're playing here because then you have the Native American tribe there
mhm,
basically having like a town meeting. Like,
mhm,
yo, what we gonna do about this military base? These are like sacred burial grounds. Even
mhm,
though I don't think it's that they're worried about the boundary set by the stuff, the
yeah,
whatever he crashed and whatever Pennywise crashed in that was supposed to encase him.
yep,
They used to burn and form a boundary that he couldn't leave out of that area because that's what she explained to Francis when they got out.
mhm,
Like, you don't have to worry, you're good. It can't come out here.
yeah,
It's trapped in there. So long as you just don't go in there, you wasn't listening. You just took off. We was having too much fun and games, and you ran and almost got your head took off in there. As long as you out here, he can't come there.
mhm,
So yeah, but they're not outwardly saying it. It's almost like only a certain few know.
mhm,
Rose and her nephew apparently
yeah,
have ideas on what's going on because later on we see the young one telling the story. Who he thinks he's telling it to is Aunt Rose, but is actually telling it to Halloran when he
yep,
gets in his mind.
oh,
Yeah, that was, and then also, is this the episode where he gets his little kickback? Where Halloran, remember, he's like, also part of the beginning episode where they have him and his boys from base kicking back, having a beer, and then the rain comes through the roof because they can't go to the regular
I
NCO club for the bar.
yeah, I
They
think
can't
that's
go to the bar
episode
in
4.
town because they get hassled there.
Yeah,
So we're seeing. I do like how this is kind of interspersed with uh, kind of social commentary of the time in the
mhm,
1950s, 1960s,
yep,
and the black service members not being able to kind of kick back and blow off steam with everybody else because when they always got a problem when you just come and sit down and have a drink and patronize the businesses there. So
mhm,
he's like, he goes through that traumatic experience up in the air. And so the general's like, if you need anything that'll ease what you got going on, let me know. And he was quick with it. He's like, yeah, well, there's one thing. He didn't even, it was funny because the general was like, oh, that was quick. Like, he didn't skip a beat. Like, yeah, me and my boys, we need a place to kind of kick back and be somewhere where we can just enjoy ourselves and take a breather and relax and get some
mhm,
R&R without being messed with. And so it gives him a decommissioned Quonset hut somewhere out there in the wilderness where they have to clean it up, of course. And out there during the cleanup, he ends up having a vision of I think, his dead grandmother
mhm,
out there. And before that happens, we have the major, the pilot,
mhm,
his son have a little issue where his son sees him, and we get the glimpse into what happened to him in Korea.
mhm,
He must have been shot down in Korea because he's at the bottom. That was funny too. Did you think that was funny when they went fishing
yeah.
and Will was like, "How long we got to do this?"
Oh gosh, I almost forgot about this. Yeah.
He's like, "I'm out in nature with my boy. It's just like me and my pops used to do. I'm having the time of my life. You don't like this? Like, what's not to like? We fishing." And then he gets a little bit excited at first, as most kids do when they find something boring, but then something happens that's intriguing. He gets a little bite of something. I thought
Mhm.
something was going to happen then when when the fishing line first got yanked on. I was like, oh, here we go.
My gosh. I was so stressed out because I was like, why you leave your son alone in the middle of this water?
Some wading boots on.
Yeah, and because I'm like, what? Because aside from the terror of Pennywise possibly showing up, what if he catches something and it's something big
Too
and
big, yeah.
yeah, he gets pulled under like and you just gone.
Well, maybe he's thinking that wherever they're fishing is there's nothing big enough to pull him under, so he's somewhat safe. Like,
Fair
mm,
enough, but even still, I was like, why you leave your son alone like that?
yeah,
Just have him walk back with you and then come back.
yeah, my boy. Yeah, he ends up getting pulled under, and then he say, "It was you. It was you. You was all burnt up." And he's like, he was freaked out, and so he immediately goes and confronts Halloran about it because he's like, "Yo, what the hell are we looking for? What is
Yeah.
this?" And he finally confronts him. Is it this episode? This is the was it the prior episode that they had dinner? There was a part.
Episode 3 was when they had dinner.
Okay, yeah, because we could see Halloran. This was kind of interesting part of it too, where Halloran is having dinner with the Major and Miss Charlotte, and he does make a comment that he's like, "Where's your son?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I didn't tell you I had a son." He's like, "Oh, I must
Right.
have heard it somewhere on base." But he's still kind of. I was kind of every time I feel like I'm kind of warming up to this dude, he just becomes trash all over again. I'm like, oh yeah, something ain't right with that dude. Maybe because he got these weird powers, and everybody with kind of special powers is just gonna be a little off. But
Mm.
I can't tell, whose side you're on. Still, he does kind of fess up to being one of the people that jumped him in his barracks room when they first got to base
Mm.
with the gas masks on, and he explains that yeah, that it was a test, and I can measure a man and by his fear, and the part of your brain your fear is supposed to cut on is it ain't even there. So
Mm.
you're not a dude that I would mess with, but yet you still there messing with him, it seems. Because he seemed to be egging the conversation on with Miss Charlotte because she's getting all in the business of Derry and this father who's being held in jail, about to go to Shawshank,
Mhm.
killing these little kids that we know Pennywise killed, but they're blaming him
Mhm.
because they don't have nobody else to blame.
Yep.
So, hey, black dude owns a theater and the kids died in the theater. Must have been that dude. Uh, we find out, I think, in the fourth episode, why he's not giving up his alibi. Am I right on
Mhm.
that?
I think so.
Yeah, because Miss Charlotte, she's
It's not.
she's
I don't. Yeah.
she's pushing the issue with this. She's about to bring the NAACP and everybody up to Derry and stir trouble for the major. And he's like, you told me you wasn't going to do this no more. What do you think about Miss Charlotte?
I love Charlotte.
Yeah,
I love her. I mean, I I love her because she's doing what needs to be done.
yeah,
And when she sees that stuff's not right, she's like,
yeah.
she's like, I'm getting active. Like stuff's not right. I'm getting active.
I have no
So
choice.
yeah. So I love her for that. Um, I do, and stuff like that does naturally put a target on your back when you're in
Yeah,
the environment she's in. So her being the way she is uh, stresses me out,
yeah,
but understandably so. Like I understand why she is how she is, and I appreciate her because she's the only one in the show
yeah,
who's who is getting active, like to help this man. Like someone in this situation interpersonally,
yeah.
like like literally no other adult in the show is
It's
doing what she's
challenging.
doing.
Yeah, she's
So
challenging the police. She walks up on the chief. Like, yeah, I need to talk to my man because I don't think what y'all doing is right. I don't
mhm,
mean no disrespect, but has he even had the chance to talk to a lawyer? And she's like, wait a minute, who are you?
right.
I'm surprised she hadn't pulled the cousin card, because like we are related type. He's like, you have to be either a relative or a lawyer. And since you're not neither, you can't talk to him. And so she ends up going to grandma and talking to her and getting a sign. It was kind of weird. She came with a signed permission slip, like, I have permission to talk to him now. You gonna let me talk to him?
Hmm.
And then I can make a phone call. I can have the NAACP. Everybody's gonna be up here. It's amazing what I can do with a phone. So Are you gonna let me see him, or I got to make that call? And I'm surprised he capitulated with just that much,
Yeah.
especially in a small town. Because a lot of them places be will call you bluff because they just don't know. They're not. Sometimes in their minds they're not a part of the rest of the fabric of society. So whatever goes on in big towns, just like old boy said, this is America. He's like, no, this ain't America. This Derry. We can do whatever we want out here. We want
Which
some justice.
is it's very funny though, because like that the guy who said that, like this isn't America, this is Derry, and so we gonna do whatever we want to. And then the same sheriff she was talking to was like, "Man, this is what did he say?" He was like, we're different than like the rest of the South or something like that.
Yeah,
He's like, we
and they're
don't
not even
do
they're part of the Northwest,
right or
Maine, right?
yeah. He was or
The
he
Northeast.
I think he was trying to explain. He was like, we do it differently here. Like, we're not going to. Claiming that they're not as racist as other towns have
Hmm.
been. Which is kind of funny because it's like yeah, it shows the idea that like the is he thinks they're a more progressive town. You know,
Mm. I
you
didn't take
know.
it that way. I take it as it's a different brand.
Oh, I
This
mean, in
this is a whole different
actuality,
brand of
no,
racism out here.
absolutely. What
Yeah,
I'm saying is, like, actually, yes, this, of course, is another brand of racism. I'm saying he thinks
yeah,
that they're more progressive than they are.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. She's poking around, and then you see the Major Hanlon, his partner, the other pilot. I forget what his name is, but he's watching Charlotte go in and
yeah.
out of the police station, and then he immediately goes back and snitches. So homie starts questioning her at home, like, what you doing out in town? Because he didn't even say, what you doing out in town? She's like, what you mean what I'm doing out in town? Minding my business. What you doing?
Like,
And
hello.
then she tries to explain to him, such and such, this ain't right. They got this black man in jail, about to send him up the river for with no proof and no. And he's like, look, you said you wasn't gonna start that. I want to know what happened before. Like, because he said you wouldn't do this again. So this means it's not the first time. I want some background on what Charlotte was doing back in the other base. I guess everywhere she goes, she gets it cracking, and he's trying to lay low and just follow orders. And I kind of understand, but then I don't because it don't matter. Like it's not going to get you any further than
Yep,
you think it is.
yep.
But
I'm
he's dealing
like,
with military and security clearance stuff probably, and that can affect you when your family members are they think you got some unknown variables in your background. They will pull them clearances quick. Uh, but at the same time, like you said, what's right is right. And you see
yeah,
something wrong, you got to act on it. He's trying to get along. He's trying to go along to get along, and she's not getting along. Even though it's funny how she kind of smiled and said she would. I'm not doing nothing, and walked off. And he just kind of smirked like, okay.
I mean, it's just kind of it's funny. Like so I was watching the show with a friend of mine, and progressively I won't spoil, there's no spoilers or nothing, but just progressive, she's like, what is she seeing him?
Oh, the pilot.
Yeah, no, 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 like she was talking about Charlotte and
Hmm.
Hanlon,
Yeah,
and she's like, what is she seeing him? Because they seem so diametrically opposed.
yeah,
And I was like, they are both fighting for things. Like they're fighting for things. Just I think their methods, you know,
yeah.
are different. And their values are different a little bit. Like
They are.
yeah.
But he's also, back in them days, stability was king, and he's a military officer
Hmm.
with stable income, stable job. Regardless of what everything is going on at that time, and he's a pilot.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not like he's enlisted, a broke, Lance Corporal E3, E4 with not much. They don't even rate base housing unless if they're married, they are, but the quarters are different for officers than they are for
Yeah, he's
the
got a house in town, right? Like they're
yeah,
not on base or
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So it comes with perks and that stability, and she can go out in town and do whatever she needs and shop wherever she wants to and move about. And there can be a certain level of respect afforded to a military spouse out in town once they know who you're attached to and whatnot. So That's probably part of it. And they vibe somehow. Like they got together at some point, so they found
Yeah.
value in each other at some point to start a family and get together. So I'm
Oh,
sure
for
that's all part of
sure.
it. Yeah,
I listen. I understand.
yeah.
Like I was like they're both about something.
Hmm.
Like I feel like there's the same level of passion and drive. I feel like is equal. It's just for different things. Between the two of them.
And Rose didn't give up the goods. The Native American lady at the shop, when she
Hmm.
kind of said, basically like if you feel the need, you need someone to talk to. Here's my phone number.
Yeah.
But she didn't tell her what's up. Like
Yeah.
like my son is having issues. Um, there's some weird stuff going on. And I heard what happened to the dude in the theater. Should I be worried? And she doesn't really. She's like, "Oh,
I
no."
I think it's kind of funny though. Like she could see the writing on the wall immediately after Charlotte kind of just laid out like what her son was going through.
Yeah.
Also, like our Charlotte and her family are probably the only black people in this town. So,
No, except for the
oh,
theater owner.
you said the who?
The theater owner, the one that's in jail,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
and his
So,
daughter and his
yeah,
mama.
sorry, not the only black people, but
Yeah.
they know there's just not a lot of black folks in this
Few
town,
and
and
far
so
between. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's reading between the lines, and so she knows, you know, like there probably might be some shit down the line. So here's my number if you need to
Yeah.
give me a call.
Oh, it's definitely going to be. And she kind of knows. I think she gives her the rundown about people forgetting stuff too, and how
Mm.
strange the. Didn't she say like it's a beautiful place,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
things tend to happen here.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the most subtle. You need to watch yourself. Be wary and hold your loved ones close to the vest, because you never know what can happen out here.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, So it's crazy out here in these Derry streets. So yeah, it's
Very
going to be
true.
interesting to see how this all culminates, as they seem to be teasing more and more of Pennywise without actually showing him. We've been seeing him in the picture vaguely.
Mhm.
Did we get to that part yet where the kids got the pictures?
Uh,
Is that the fourth episode?
it's at the end of episode 3 that
Okay.
they get the pictures developed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
they go and that did they do that in episode two? Did they take the picture in episode two and then develop them in episode three?
Um, maybe.
I remember them, going through the cemetery,
Yeah.
riding around on the bikes, and
Mhm.
the little Cuban kid
They
having
no,
fun.
yes, they yes. I think they took the pictures in episode 2,
Yeah,
and then they approached what's the name?
the,
Will, because
yeah.
she was like, you said some stuff about some chemicals, so that means you could develop pictures,
You can
right?
develop film. That was hilarious. Like I don't know how connected those dots, but you did. He somehow found a way. But then when they get them to the police station, they don't see anything. At least the cops don't.
Ooh.
Yeah, except for Will's pick
Mhm.
comes out where you can vaguely see the clown.
Right.
That's the
Right.
only one that comes out, which I find weird because under the lights, when they were initially taking the pictures, they could see the kids that got killed in the theater. They saw Maddie, they saw Philip's little sister. Um, so I'm wondering why they showed up there, and then when the film was fully developed, they bring them to the police station. Only one of them came out, and maybe because he's the only thing that's real. Pennywise.
Maybe.
It's a vision, like you said. We're playing on the fears of their subconscious. Those are fictitious things that he's showing them, but he's the actual real entity there. So he shows up and nothing else. And so they basically have to run away with their tails tucked between their legs. He confesses to mom's because mom finds the photos in the drawer, and he bawls out crying and wants to keep it a secret. That was funny, trying to keep it a secret. And then Pops doesn't know what's going on. And he's talking about, let's keep it a secret that he's got a girlfriend. You still there?
I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm back. My internet had cut out for a second.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, mom's covers it up by saying he's embarrassed by having a girlfriend. when Pops is like, "What's wrong? How was your day?" and he's like reticent to talk. He's like, "It was
Oh
okay.
yeah,
It was all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
It was fine." And when Pops noticed he's giving like these little one word answers, he knows immediately something's wrong, something's up, something's wrong with his boy.
Mm,
And then she immediately kind of saves the day and is like, well, there's a girl at school. And so then, like, that explained away everything. That's why he's acting weird. That's why he's a little emotional right now. And so he kind of understands that. And he first kind of accepts that. And he starts questioning him when they go on a fishing trip later because she comes up with, since if you don't have to work this weekend, why don't you go and do something just you and him? And then
mm,
that's when you have the encounter. So is that so yeah, that's Pennywise there showing himself to Will
mm-hmm.
again. But I'm wondering how close they are to wherever the central location is for him is at the fishing hole.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Because they made it seem like it was a big circle where he was kind of entrapped in this area. So far, we've got like the sewers. He's down there somewhere. Uh, it's a big kind of location. He's at the edge of the forest
Mm,
in other parts, and I guess wherever they were driving to when Maddie got picked up hitchhiking in the first
mm-hmm.
episode. So that's near to wherever his domain is.
So it's interesting because I saw a video where Stephen King was talking about like the book and also, like his thoughts behind writing the book and creating the town of Derry.
Mhm.
And Derry is he had clarified that the town of Derry is not just like a small town. It's like it's a small city. So
Okay.
like it's larger
Okay.
than we might think it is.
Interesting. Because is Maine all that big as a state?
I don't know, but he said he's from Maine. Like
Yeah, I know
that's
he's from Maine.
oh,
Uh,
okay. I don't know.
I
I
just
don't know
think of it
anything
as
about
one of the
Maine.
kind of the small on the smaller side of things compared to other larger areas. So it has the show makes it seem like it's a very small town feel to it. Like everybody kind of
Yeah.
knows everybody. These
Yeah.
kids are freaking horrible at that school.
Oh, oh, yes.
The patty cake.
They're the
I'm
worst
hoping
kids ever.
I'm hoping something happens to the patty cakes because we still got poor Lily is suffering and Marge, who you think is trying to be her friend, but really she's always just trying to get in the good graces of the patty cakes. They done got
Yeah.
one of the jocks in on it, where he's gonna pretend to like her and tells her to go to the bathroom and freshen up. Uh, but I'm wondering if, because this episode, I'm wondering if Pennywise shows himself again to just Lily. Like, is this whole visual? Like, they were watching, they were in like science class where they're looking
Hmm.
at the snails, and the googly eyes
Yeah.
thing comes, and Marge is looking at it, and you can see the patty cakes are over there manipulating her to manipulate Lily, and she's making this face at the projector that they're looking at,
Mm.
and so I'm wondering when later on what happens when the googly eyes things comes out of Marge. Does that actually happen to Marge? You know what I'm saying? And Lily is witnessing it, or is Marge just standing there looking at Lily freak out as she thinks she sees something, and that's how she ends up because she's by herself in the she when she cuts the eye thing off. Like she runs out of the bathroom because Lily's in the toilets in the stall,
Yeah.
and she starts freaking out first in the
Yeah.
restroom, and then runs out and tries to cut off the little eye stalks thing. But that's what I'm wondering if that's just a visualization that Lily sees, and none of that's really real to her, but it is as it revealed itself to Marge now. But I guess we'll get the explanation in the following episodes because it kind of ends on that note with the
Yeah.
rest of the class coming in, her holding the shiv or the screwdriver, straddling poor Marge
My
like she just
God. It seems so brutal.
yeah
It's so brutal. It is interesting. When I was showing my friend episode 1 yesterday, Saturday,
yeah
and I there was a line in the first episode where Marge was worried about her glasses and she was
mhm.
talking to Lily and she was like, "Do these make me look like I have bug eyes?"
Yeah.
I was like,
because she's
And it,
trying to please the crowd.
yeah, but it just the way it manifested.
Yeah, yeah, that was nasty.
Oh,
Is the little Cuban kid? Does he like Marge?
do you want me to tell you?
I think he kind of like because he's remember he was sitting there eating by his locker, and the
Hmm.
girls walked by, but I couldn't tell. No, I don't want you to tell me. But I think he was looking at Marge when she walked by, not the patty cakes.
Um, I mean, so there's a scene, and I think it happens like in these first four episodes,
Yeah,
where Marge walks past him and she's with the patty cakes, and he sees her and it's in slow motion.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so he's got the googly eyes.
Yeah,
So
he
yeah.
even stopped chewing. He's
Mhm.
mouth open with food in his mouth, just watching her pass by. And she kind of looks at him weird because maybe she was because she's probably questioning like, is he looking at me or is he looking at the patty cakes?
Yeah, like why is he staring at me? But
Yeah,
yeah, I think my man, got some feelings,
yeah.
some big feelings.
He's like, oh, because he's the one that calls out Will for liking Ronnie.
Mhm.
He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see it. Yeah, and he's like, what are you talking about? So yeah, it's gonna. I don't know who's gonna make it. I don't know if any of them make it. I know we talked about this the last episode, Jordan, you and I,
Mhm.
that the kids, because the movie we see, if you look in the credits, you see the last names of some of the people. So
Yeah.
obviously, some of them had to have survived to make it, being as this is a prequel
Mm.
to it. Um, I'm still liking it. I'm still liking the social commentary as well as the horror aspects, all kind of intermingling.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not really seeing any justice because we get the history um, later on. I think in episode 4, where Rose's nephew gets jailed. But I thought one of the officers, General Shaw, asked them to let them in, like because they could see that the Native Americans were watching what they were digging. The military. They were sitting on the other side because they had pictures of them. They were like looking through a telescope, and then the military apparently was taking pictures of the boys over there watching them at the dig site.
Wow.
So they're aware that they're there. And then General Shaw's like, I think it's time to just let them in. You know, if they want to be over here nosy, let them in.
Right. 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 Right.
And the
Yes.
next thing you know, you see homeboy handcuffed to the table, and I think Hanlon, what was
Halloran.
Halloran goes in there basically to interrogate him,
Mm.
and basically, you know what I'm looking for. I need you to tell me what's going down. And homie spits on him. That was nasty as hell.
It was.
And he kind of wipes it off, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for what's about to happen." And then he starts putting his hand on his head and doing some weird. He starts doing a little seance thing and gets into my boy's brain, and all of a sudden we're transported back in time once again. You see this cute little Native American kid playing with his toys on the floor, and Auntie Rose walks in, and now we know that's Halloran basically is kind of pulling a Pennywise. He's taking the form of Rose, or at least he's projecting Rose's form to ask him the question of what's what happened here, and
Mhm.
what's the history. Let me know that you've learned it and tell me. It's not till after he gives the whole story about this ancient being crashing to Earth, encased in this material that was supposed to entrap him, and it broke. But the natives at the time were able to fashion a dagger out of
Mhm.
this material that was there to encase him. It was like the only weapon that could injure the entity, and so they basically had an understanding that there was a certain hunting grounds that
Mhm.
was just the entities, like, and told everybody, hey, it can hunt here in this area. That's his. Leave it alone. Don't go in there. And then what
Yeah.
happens? Colonization.
Yep.
And them folks come through and don't listen to nothing nobody got to say. That land is either sacred or it's dangerous. Either way, you're supposed to stay out of it. And they're like, well, it looks great over there. So, and stuff starts happening. People start getting killed, and they're showing people just getting slaughtered in this area. It was horrific. And the one of the great warriors ends up getting killed too when her daughter takes up the reins and takes up
Yeah.
shards of this material. They form like a perimeter around a certain area and light fires, and that designates it. And somehow, this staging of the area traps it in this wide area, and it looks like it's going to be horrible if my boy ever gets out. If they somehow break the perimeter and he's set free amongst the rest of the population, this is going to
Mhm.
be bad. So I'm wondering if that's going to come to a head at some point.
Ooh.
That was a cool. That was kind of a cool historic reveal of how
Yeah.
Pennywise came to be here. We don't know exactly what he is, but we know he's not of this earth.
Mhm.
Um, but he is a physical entity, an organism that's thrown down
Yeah.
here. I'm wondering what that like obsidian looking stuff is, what it actually is that was supposed to encase him, because obviously that material was strong enough to hold him here, but it didn't survive planetfall, and thus that's how he ends up
Mm.
breaking loose. I
Mm.
wonder why he took a form like some giant elk or caribou or whatever at first, running around.
I mean, I would imagine even if those are creatures that like maybe that tribe have hunted, they probably have lost like tribe members to those animals or those creatures. Like maybe they've had like negative experiences.
Oh yeah,
Um,
caribou, them things. If moose, anything with antlers and as big
yeah,
as hell, they can do some damage to you. That's why I
yeah.
don't
So I
understand
can.
people just walking up on things all the time. Is you watch too many cartoons? Like this ain't the cartoon. It's real life.
Oh my gosh, this is a side note, and I'll be very quick about it. But I saw a video the other day, and it was these two moose
Mhm.
fighting in this woman's backyard, and it was terrifying.
And it was hitting the truck.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it was hitting the truck, like, and she was fussing because like, they was destroying her fence and everything, and I was like, "I really hope they don't, like, crash into her house, because like, if they start going
yeah.
getting into her house, I'm like, it's about to be over for y'all." Like,
Yeah, it's real.
but yeah, they're so big, and I'm like, "What do you do?" Like, there's nothing you can
Nothing.
do, you just stay
Yeah.
away, like
You just hope they get tired and move on about their business. Nothing, you can't go out there and do nothing. Maybe you can, if you have a weapon or something, maybe you can shoot in the air and maybe scare them away. But other than that, physically, I don't know. I know plenty of people think they can mess with animals, but a lot of times, uh, leave them damn animals alone. They,
yep,
you're not in their weight class.
yep,
Number one, just you should
no.
know. And they got antlers. Like they're just naturally.
I'm like, "You yeah," I'm like, "You don't have antlers. You're already
I
ill-equipped."
used to have a
You
DVD back in the day called "When Animals Attack." It is the most hilarious thing to watch. People trying to tame animals, and it is hilarious. And then they get attacked, and it ain't a good time. And so yeah, he picked
wow.
Pennywise picked this big caribou figure to run around and just terrorize people with in this area. I get maybe because people hunt game like that,
Mhm.
like deer and elk and caribou. So he turned the prey into the predator in that
Yeah.
instance.
Uh,
You think you're running up on something that you're gonna make a meal out of, and he ends up making a meal out of you.
mhm.
That is horrible. And then yeah, we end on uh Marge getting bum rushed in the science class or
Ugh.
home ec class because there was a whole bunch. There was saws in there. There was all types of tools, and she was trying to cut them little bulbous eye stalks off with. And
It's
I'm
terrible.
wondering why
It's so
Lily went in. I
brutal.
would have got help. Lily should have went to get help. If she was freaking out, go get some help. Don't run up because they already think you're crazy.
I think she I think Lily, her first instinct was
To
that
help.
she clocked what was going on with
Yeah,
Marge. Like, not just because she was screaming, she clocked that, like, that Marge is being targeted
yeah,
by Pennywise, and so she was like, "All right, I understand what's happening. So let me try to get her to understand this is not real."
yeah,
Like, but it didn't help either.
yeah. And like I said, I didn't watch ahead, so my fear is that Marge obviously is not going to fess up uh, to her participation in
Mhm.
this, and
Yeah.
she was already gonna. Basically, she was handing Lily over. on a silver platter to the patty cakes anyway. So she might as well get as much sympathy out of this as she can. She's not going to fess up
Mhm.
to, oh no, I did this to myself, because now you're going to send me to the loony bin if I if I tell you that that's what happened. Or maybe they're going to think, oh, if even if she admits to it, the adults around will probably still blame Lily somehow and be like, oh, you
Mhm.
crazy, and now you done made your friend crazy. So both y'all can
Mhm.
go to loony bin and take some pills and chill out for a little while. Um,
Ugh.
so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they actually get to the bottom of it. Those of y'all
It's
that have
bad
already
timing.
watched to the end, um, you obviously know the answers. I do not yet, so it's been a cool ride for me. Um, well written. It is brutal. Um,
Yeah.
kids and everybody getting just cut up. They getting thrown into
Smirked.
blender. Yeah, getting murked. They are not playing around. Like my boy said, I have a friend of mine who's watched it. He's like, yeah, Stephen King said, "F them kids."
It
It's,
truly.
he turned them little kids every which way but loose and cutting them up and just terrorizing these little kids. And some of them deserve it, to be honest. Not all of them, but so you know what? The ones that haven't got it yet are the ones that kind of, well, Marge, because she's a snake. She's trying to get in where she can fit in, and if she got to sacrifice Lily to get there, she is going to do so. So she,
I felt so bad for Lily at the end of this
yeah,
episode because I was just like, oh, it's just like this is like her 15th strike
yeah.
publicly
You look on them
against
kids'
all
face
these kids.
when they walk in and see her with the screwdriver, whatever she has.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like them kids is like, what is she even still doing here,
Yeah,
dog? Like, why is she even still at the school?
she should have been gone.
Uh,
I saw her flip out at the store the other day. She just messed up all the pickle jars for no damn reason.
oh my
You know she
gosh.
crazy. Yeah, so it's
Those
yes,
kids are terrible. I will never. Those kids are so terrible for putting those pickles in her locker. Like, it's awful. Uh,
yeah. Like I said, they're the ones, not the ones that aren't getting terrorized, are the ones that probably should be.
yeah.
So it's just,
You
yeah,
know.
it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Do we know if there's going to be a second season?
Yes.
There is going to be a second season.
Yep.
So they don't. So I guess they didn't dovetail it right into it yet. Then there's still more story to tell
Um.
in the interim between the end of season one and it.
Um. I don't want to
Okay,
say. I
you
don't
want
want
to
to
spoil it
spoil
for?
it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to chop it up with me about these things. We have two lurkers. I see the little eyeball icon that have been watching the whole time. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to us ramble on about this show. Welcome to Derry. It has been a pretty good experience. So if you're into horror, if you're into it and things like that, I do recommend giving it a watch. We're up to 8 episodes now. The finale just came out, I think.
Yep.
I have not watched, but yeah, give it a gander. Let me know what you think. Once again, there will be links on when I put this episode of the Askari Cast up on Spotify. There will be links to our personal websites if you are at all interested in our creative endeavors. And we will talk at y'all next week.